Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you a brief update. This is the 1957 Chevrolet Corvette Roadster. In an earlier video we shared with you where we basically removed all of the trim, all of the interior gauges, stereo and that sort of thing, and then we were ready to start. After the sample testing, we've started to sand all of the layers of paint and body filler off of the car. So there's a couple of things I'd like to share with you. One is, a lot of people will ask, and we got some proof here, this is a perfect example. We get a lot of questions about why do you sand, especially on a fiberglass car like a Corvette, why do you sand all the layers of paint and body filler off to gel coat? Why don't you just use a stripper, some type of commercial grade stripper? It will go a lot faster, and people have done it in different shops. We will not ever use a stripper to strip anything that's fiberglass, because the fiberglass resins and the layers that they have on the gel coat will react over time to strippers. A lot of guys will say, well, if you put a stripper on and you peel it all off or you scrape it all off after you sand it, there's a neutral wash that you can wash the car with, and then once you seal it, it's fine. Well, here's a perfect example. So this is a 1957 Corvette. This is the original fiberglass mold from the factory, and hopefully the camera can pick it up. These little, I'll call them scars, these pores that are opening and cracking, and I think the camera can pick it up. All of those pores that are splitting open a little bit, that's why the car earlier, when we looked at it, when we went to help our client purchase this car, I knew what was happening without sounding smart or cocky, because we've seen this before. If you don't start with a very clean base, anything that you lay on top of it in time will react and either want to sink in or it'll try to push and lift up. So for example, if people left the original lacquer paint on this car and then repainted the car a few other times, eventually the lacquer will push its way through. But this is a chemical reaction from someone, I'm assuming there's a couple of dates on this, about 15 years ago it sounds like is when it was painted. So 15 years ago, whoever removed the lacquer, they didn't use the method we're using of sanding it and being really careful and bringing it down to this. They obviously, these scars that you see, or these pores that are opening all along this top, and as we continue to sand, we're going to see more of this, I'm quite confident, because once the UV light hits it, it's a chemical reaction. So the gel coat in the fiberglass resin reacts with the chemicals that they use to strip. So what we're going to do, that's why we're sanding everything. So once we sand everything off, we're going to see some of the problem areas or repaired areas. So here's a perfect example. There's a lot of body work that's been done. This is the quarter panel on the passenger side. What you're seeing here in this bottom section in front of the back wheel is body filler. This is extensive body filler here, this brownish colored stuff. And then this darker colored stuff is a fiberglass resin repair. So something's happened in this section and they've done a fiberglass repair, and there's fiber in here. So this has been repaired and then body filler over top. We want to make sure that they bonded everything properly here. So anything that's hidden underneath, we want to make sure it's done correctly. As we come back behind the passenger rear tire, you can see a couple of things. Now, this is the bonding strip from the factory. So we always want to see this, depending on what generation of Corvette. They always had bonding strips in certain locations where the panels were literally bonded or joined together. So I really like seeing this bonding strip. This is an original strip from the factory from 1957. However, there's been a repair done in the back. You can see this dark colored fiberglass. There's fiberglass matting back in this corner. I think the camera person can pick it up. If I move out of the way here. So I apologize for the lighting and but you can see in here. So this dark in here, this is a mini fiber. So this is a body filler. This dark green stuff is a fiberglass reinforced smoother or body filler. And then in here, I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it's very, very rough and it's the actual fiberglass resin and matting that they've done a repair on. This signifies there was a hole, and there's probably a hole here or it broke away. So it's a repair that's been done, and then you can see up here, this is what they call spider cracking. So what's happened is the impact was down lower, and then we have the spider cracking here and then along here, and I'm pretty sure the camera can pick it up. You can see these kind of like star bursts, and that's right in the fiberglass. So we want to make sure that we expose all of these things because we want to make sure whatever's at the bottom or the base of this Corvette has been repaired properly. If it hasn't, then we'll need to cut it away and repair it properly, and then once that's done, we'll block sand everything out as smooth as we can. We'll use a two-part epoxy, and a two-part epoxy will seal this resin and fiberglass, which is a perfect base to begin with, or a foundation, and then the high build primer will go on top of that. So this is quite a bit of work. We just started here at this back tailpipe, and we've gone as far as this quarter panel. We haven't done the edging around the wheel well openings, but we're down into the quarter panel, and then later we'll be doing this tricky curve on the inside. So quite a bit of work ahead of us. We're going to continue to sand the rest of this 57 Corvette like this, continue around. It will expose any damaged areas or improper repaired areas, and then we'll share with you what we see as we continue on with the sanding. So this is just a brief update. This is the 1957 Chevrolet Corvette Roadster, and I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.